The rain had just begun to fall when Alina's life took a turn she never saw coming. The airport was crowded, the kind of chaos that made every announcement blur together into a single droning hum. She wasn't even supposed to be there that night. Her cousin Zara had called at the last minute, sick, feverish, and desperate. "Please, just pick up Mr. Daniel. He's a family friend's guest. You just have to hold his name card and bring him to the hotel," she had begged. Alina, being the kind-hearted soul she was, agreed without much thought. She didn't know that one small favor was about to rewrite the story of her entire life. If you believe that kindness and second chances can change everything, make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe, because this story will remind you that sometimes fate begins with a simple act of helping someone else. Alina stood at the arrival gate, drenched slightly from the rain outside, holding a cardboard sign that read, "Mr. Daniel." Her fingers were cold, her shoes still damp from the puddles she'd stepped through in the parking lot. She wore a pale blue sweater, her long black hair tied loosely at the back, a few strands escaping to frame her gentle face. People brushed past her, hugging loved ones, dragging suitcases, calling out names, but no one approached her. After half an hour, she sighed and adjusted her scarf. Maybe the man was delayed. Maybe he had already found another ride. She was about to give up when she saw him. A tall man in a black trench coat emerged through the crowd, pulling a sleek leather bag behind him. His presence commanded attention without even trying. Broad shoulders, calm eyes, and that quiet, composed aura that seemed to separate him from everyone else. His sharp gaze scanned the crowd, then fell on her sign. Their eyes met for a brief, uncertain moment before he walked toward her. "You must be Mr. Daniel?" she asked softly, her voice almost lost in the airport noise. He gave a small, polite nod, his expression unreadable. "Yes. You must be my pickup?" She nodded quickly, smiling nervously. "Yes, I'm, Zara's cousin. She couldn't make it, so I came instead. The car's outside." He simply said, "Thank you," and followed her. His voice was calm but deep, with the kind of authority that made her straighten unconsciously. The drive to the hotel was quiet. The man sat in the back seat, eyes fixed on the rain streaking down the window. Alina felt strangely tense. Something about him didn't fit the image she had imagined of a family friend's guest. He looked far too important, too composed, like someone used to commanding rooms full of people, not just sitting silently in the back seat of a modest car. Still, she drove carefully, trying not to show her nerves. It wasn't until they reached the hotel that things began to unravel. At the reception, when she mentioned the booking under Mr. Daniel, the receptionist frowned slightly. "Ma'am, there is no booking here under that name." The man beside her turned, his brow slightly furrowed. "Are you sure?" His tone was low, controlled, but there was a flicker of confusion in his eyes. Alina's heart skipped. "Maybe it's under a different name," she suggested quickly, trying to save face. But before either could speak again, another man approached the counter, a younger guy in a suit, holding a sign that read, "Mr. Daniel, Tech Core CEO." He froze when he saw the man beside her. "Sir, we've been waiting for you outside." The car was ready. What happened? And in that instant, everything clicked. The man she'd picked up turned slowly toward her. His expression softened, a faint smile tugging at the corner of his lips. "So, you weren't actually here for me, were you?" Alina's stomach dropped. "Oh no," she whispered, her face flushing in embarrassment. "You're not—" He shook his head, amused. "No, I'm not the family friend's guest. I'm Daniel Hayes." Her mouth went dry. She had seen his face somewhere, on billboards, maybe in business magazines. TechCore's billionaire CEO, known for transforming a small software company into a global empire. And she had just made him ride in her old, sputtering car that smelled faintly of vanilla air freshener and wet clothes. She apologized 100 times that night, stammering out explanations and offering to call him another car. But to her surprise, he only chuckled softly. "Relax. It's the most peaceful ride I've had in years. No bodyguards, no drivers, no schedule, just quiet." And that's how it began. Over the next few days, their paths crossed again, by pure coincidence or maybe by fate. Daniel, intrigued by her sincerity, asked if she'd join him for coffee to thank her for the most interesting airport pickup of his life. Alina hesitated but agreed. Over coffee, he discovered that she wasn't some polished corporate type. She was simple, kind, and quietly strong. She worked part-time at a small design studio, taking care of her sick mother, and still managed to smile through life's chaos. For the first time in a long time, Daniel found himself listening, not as a CEO, but as a man. Alina, on the other hand, couldn't understand why someone like him, famous, wealthy, and intimidating, seemed so interested in her stories. But there was something disarmingly genuine about the way he looked at her. He asked about her art, her struggles, her dreams, and for once, someone truly listened. Weeks passed. Daniel extended his stay in the city under the excuse of work meetings, but Alina slowly became the real reason. He began showing up at the studio with coffee. He helped her mother get medical checkups through his company's healthcare program, without ever mentioning his name. But it wasn't all smooth. The world around them noticed. People whispered. Alina's colleagues teased her. Zara grew suspicious when she realized her cousin had been spending time with a man whose name now appeared in news headlines. And Alina herself struggled with self-doubt. What if he's just being kind out of pity? She thought late one night, staring at her reflection. People like him don't fall for girls like me. Daniel too had his own walls. He had spent years surrounded by people who wanted something from him. His time, his name, his money. Alina was the first person who treated him like a person, not a brand. But he didn't know how to tell her that without scaring her away. One day, everything came crashing down. A photo of them leaving the cafe together made it to a gossip site. The headline screamed, "Millionaire CEO spotted with mystery woman. Is this his secret girlfriend?" Within hours, Alina's small studio was flooded with calls. Her boss asked her to lay low for a while, fearing bad publicity. Her mother's anxiety worsened. Zara called, furious, asking what she had gotten herself into. Alina broke down. For the first time, she didn't answer Daniel's calls. She needed to protect her family, her peace. She couldn't afford a scandal. Days turned into weeks. She avoided the places they used to go, stayed offline, and buried herself in work. Until one morning, a letter arrived. Delivered by hand with no sender name, only her own written neatly on the front. Inside, a note read, "Sometimes, life sends the wrong person to pick you up, so you can find the right reason to stay. Meet me where it all began." Her heart pounded. She drove to the airport, the same gate where they had first met, and there he was, standing exactly where she had held that cardboard sign months ago. He looked tired, but his smile was the same. Gentle, honest, a little nervous. "I never thanked you properly," he said softly as she approached. "You reminded me what it's like to be seen as a person again." Tears welled up in her eyes. "Daniel, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cause all that chaos." He shook his head. "Don't apologize for being real. The world needs more people like you, Alina." He stepped closer, pulling out the same worn piece of cardboard she had once used. It now had a new message written in bold letters. "Miss Alina, my right pick." She laughed through her tears. The airport lights reflected in her eyes as she realized, maybe this was what fate looked like. Not grand gestures or perfect timing, but two people colliding in the middle of life's mess and choosing to stay. From that day forward, Daniel stopped hiding. He publicly introduced her as someone who had brought humanity back into his world. The tabloids shifted tone. People began calling her the girl who changed the CEO's heart. But to Alina, none of that mattered. What mattered was how he looked at her mother with kindness, how he showed up on her hardest days, how he held her hand not because the cameras were watching, but because he wanted to. And even years later, when she told their story to others, she would smile and say, "I was just doing a favor for my cousin." But maybe destiny doesn't care about plans. It cares about timing. If this story touched your heart, please like, comment, and share it with someone who still believes in unexpected beginnings. And don't forget to subscribe for more stories that remind us how fate sometimes works through mistakes. Special request. Comment below, what's one mistake in your life that unexpectedly changed everything for the better? Because sometimes all it takes is one wrong pickup to find the right person forever.